that actually helps us to. Okay, so can you just write down the benefits of inheritance in the chat? Just put the benefits of inheritance in the chat, guys. Please write the benefits of inheritance in the chat. Perfect. Deepak correctly pointed out the code reusability is the important, benefit of inheritance. Yes, we can establish the parent-child relationship, and child can access all the properties of parent, but parent cannot access the property of child, right? So this is what we have seen, right? Code reusability can be achieved with the help of inheritance. Okay, so we have few types of inheritance, like single inheritance, we call it as simple inheritance, then multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, right? So uh, let us now try to discuss about multi-level inheritance. Okay, so it establish the grandparent child relationship, guys. Okay, that means one parent will have child, and again that child act as a parent of his own child. Okay, that is what the relationship we are going to establish. Let's talk about that in detail. So uh, here, if you see, uh, multi level inheritance. Okay, this will be your next type of inheritance, and the name itself indicates levels, right? So we'll be setting up some levels, like first will be parent, the second will be child of the first parent, the third will be child of the second parent, like this. Okay, so let's say we are having A as a class, which is the parent of B, right? And again we are having one more class which is the child of B. Okay, I'm having C class which is the child of B. Okay, and B is the child of A. So can you tell me the relationship between A and C, guys? What is the relationship between A and C? Yeah,
C is the sibling of A.
a grandparent child relationship, right? Perfect. So let us understand that, right? So let us say I'm having class, you know, first one is A, for example. Okay, let's write here uh, def, for example, uh, def demo. Okay, and here you can write self print I am in parent class function. Okay, this is one class. I'm having class B, which will be inherited by from A. I'll be writing def, for example, greet function. I'm writing self here. I am inside the child of E. Okay, let's write class C, which will be inherited from B. Here, welcome. Any method you can write. This is in sample methods, guys. Print I am inside the child of B. Okay, and let's say, for example, I am writing self dot x equal to 10. Okay, now tell me how many methods are there in A? How many methods are there in A?
One method.
Only
One
one method.
method. How many methods are there in B class?
Two methods.
Okay, and how many methods are there in C? One method. This is one method, this is one method, this is one method, right? Let us try to create the object of. Tell me whose object I should create.
Object of C.
C, right? You remember? We have seen we will be creating the object of child also, always, right? So let's create the object of child. So how to create the object of child, guys? Can anyone put in the chat how to create the object of child? Suppose the object name is C1. So how will be creating the object? This is how I'll be creating the object, okay? And now when I say dir of C1, just check. Now can you see like how many functions will be there in C?
C move rate.
C is the child class, right? This one, last one. So for this object, how many functions are there? Can you see demo is available of A, greet is also available of B,
And
and welcome is available of, and even we are having X. Can we find X here? We cannot because we haven't called this function yet, right? That's why X will not be created for now, but when we call this function, then X will also be created in the object. So that's why we can see only three functions available for C. But in C, we have written how many. So Deepak, I hope you understood how to create the object, right? We are not calling the method, we are creating the object. All right. So you can see all the functions of this A, all the functions of this B is available in C. Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yes.
Okay, in inheritance, why we use class B in bracket of A? Why we use A? There any logic in anything?
Yeah,
In
Pankaj, we already discussed that in the last class. Let me
Mhm,
just bring that up again.
mhm,
So, if let's say, like, if you want to store the details of for example, the students, okay,
Hmm.
and we we have the software, okay, that will deal with the academic records, that will deal with the non-academic records, that will deal with the hostel records, okay. So these are
Hmm.
the three kinds of use cases we'll be having if we have the data of student, right? So suppose this academic records, if we talk about, to store these academic records, we need some basic details of student like name, address, date of birth, age. Are you agree with this? Right?
Right.
So we'll be storing all these records, we'll be accepting all these records with academic record, right? And we'll be storing that in the database. Again, let's talk about the non-academic records, which is the another module. So instead of accepting again, anyway, like to store a non-academic record, again we need some name, address, date of birth, age, gender of the student, right? So instead of again accepting all these records at that particular model, can we take these values from the previous one, from academic module? Definitely yes. Okay. Or even if we deal with the hostel management system, for example, so there we can again we need all these information, basic information basically. So instead of accepting all these information, can we just call the function from academic module where we have written that, right? And then maybe we use that, right? So instead of writing the code again and again, we'll be using the functions which is written in the parent class. So here what we can do is we will define one class, that is class person, and in that person, whatever the information related to person, we can accept in that particular class, right? So let us say you have defined class person, and in that you have accepted person name, person age, person address, person date of birth, gender, etc. Okay, these values you have accepted. Now let us consider you want to deal with the different system like student management system, employee management system, or any other management system, right? So in student management system also, like person will be one entity. Are you agree with this? In employee also, person will be one entity. In other systems also which are like related to person, right? This will be another entity. So instead of accepting the values like name, age, gender, date of birth in every system again and again, can we call that person class everywhere, and we can just done with that, right? Instead of writing that class again and again, we will write that class once, we will use that multiple times. Okay, and whatever the class we are writing once, that is called as parent class, and these all values can be used in the child one. Okay.
Okay. In this case, class C can access the all information of B or A also.
Exactly, class C is able to access all the properties and behavior of B as well as A also.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Class B is able to access the properties of A but not C. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Vishal, do you have any question? No, Vishal, we already discussed parent cannot access the properties of child at all. Okay. Any other question? Okay, let's take a simple example here. Okay. Let me write one simple example. Class uh, person. Then what we can do is here, you know, def just go ahead and okay, so this is class person which have this basic details. Okay, now let's define class student.
Sir, someone is on mute.
Sorry.
Someone is on unmute. So we are getting disturbed.
Okay, guys, please be on mute. Otherwise, I need to revoke the access. Okay, so there is one thing. Okay, suppose user has completed 5 certification, then we need to add, you know, 2% in overall percentage. So how we can do that? If percentage is 100%, then there is okay. But if the percentage is less than or equal to 98, then we need to add 2% there. How we can achieve this, guys? I want to consider certification and events also.
Could you repeat again?
So if the certification is greater than or equal to 5, then add 1% is the total in the overall percentage. Okay. If the events are greater than or equal to 5, then again add 1 percentage in this overall percentage. Okay. So we need to just define one if what percentage is greater than less than or equal to 98. Again, if why I'm saying 98, because if we have 100% or 99, then there is no meaning of adding 2% is there, right? So if self dot certification is greater than or equal to 5, then we will be adding self dot percentage equal to self dot percentage plus 1. This is one condition. Again, same thing we need to write here. This one, instead of this, we'll be writing events. This is the one. This is non-academic one. Okay. And then finally, I will be writing another class report, that I am extending this. Okay. Then def double underscore init, not double underscore, but def display report. In this we are passing self and print name. Then we'll be writing self dot name, print id, self dot id, print age, self dot age, then print percentage. Self dot percentage. Okay, this is the function. Now tell me whose class, whose object I should create, guys.
Last one, report.
Report. Let's print r is equal to report. I am calling this particular function. I'm just creating the object. Can you tell me which function it is going to call when I will be creating the class? Then which function it is going to call? Anyone?
All.
Which one? When I'm creating the object, which function will get called?
Person and after person. Student.
It's a
Complete.
init, right? It will look
Yes.
for it will look for every, like, it will look for what? The constructor, right, initially. So in report we haven't written constructor, so it will go and check for the accept non sorry, student class. Here also we haven't written any constructor, so it will go up and will check. Here we have written the constructor, right? So it will call this particular function first and it will accept all these records. Okay, let's understand that. Let's execute this. Can you see now it is accessing what name? So here it is coming, right? Here it is coming. So right, let's write name Amit, then 1, then 30. Now it will do nothing because once it will get finished, then we are not calling any function after this, right? And that's why it will be just stopped working there. Okay, once we call this particular once we create the object, then which function we should accept, we should call first, guys?
Accept the academic records.
Accept what? Academic records. So r dot accept academic records. So once we call this, then we need to call what? Accept non-academic records, sequence wise, right? And then once we do that, then we will call what? Display
Display
report.
reports.
Because sequence matters a lot. If we call display report first, then it will not be able to recognize what is, the percentages, because idea, this name id and age will be, recognized once we create the object, will be created once we create the object, but percentage and marks will not be, there, right, for us. So that's why we need to call that. Let's execute this. Enter name Amit, id is 1, for example, age is 30. Now total marks is, for example, out of 500 I am getting uh, or here maybe our formula is wrong. So how to calculate the percentage, guys? Let me just stop this. Okay, and here we'll write, suppose this is out of 100, enter the total marks out of 500.
Should
So
multiply with 100.
Or
see,
0.5.
0.5 in this way.
Mm,
Okay, let's execute it again. Amit, id is 1, age is 30. Suppose 450 I am getting. How many certification I have done? 6 certification. How many events I have organized? 7 events I have organized. Now PER is not defined in this, so let me just check. Mm. Oh, here we need to write what? Self.pr, and then only it will call this, right? Here also we need to call self dot, because this will be the current object, right? Okay, name, again I need to give everything. Certification 6. Here is my report card. Now percentage is getting wrong, right?
try to multiply with 0.5, not divide.
Okay, multiply. Now again you can see divided by 500, right? Multiply by 100, kind of.
Yes.
Now it is getting correct. Okay. So we are adding some marks from non-academic also, right? This is what the condition. So go ahead and execute this, guys.
So then it should be 91% because of 6 and 5 are should be added in this our score. Means 460 marks should be there.
Here our condition is wrong actually. You can see if certification is less than or equal to 5, we have written, right? Are you getting it? That's why it is not adding anything. If our certification, our certification should be greater than or equal to 5, right? Now it will add.
Yes, sir.
Now it is there. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
So this is how multi-level inheritance works, guys. Just go ahead and execute this. If you have any problem, just put in the chat.
Sir, it's showing error. Name student is not defined.
Student,
Yeah.
S is capital, right?
Yes.
And you have written everything in this single cell.
Yes, the same.
Then there must not be a problem. There is something that you are missing. Class student, right? Can you share your code in the chat?
Sir, now it's working. Sir, could you please scroll down?
Yeah. Yes, Maksud, we'll go through the sequence. No worries. Okay. Just write down this code once you finish that, then we'll start. Guys, go ahead and write it down quickly so that we can go through
Sir, a
step by
little
step.
more scroll down, please.
Yes, done. So Usha, like what you are not getting, please let me know. What is the problem? Have you gone through the previous videos? Usha, are you there? Okay. What you're not getting? The entire oops you're not getting?
Amit, sir, can you scroll down the result?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
This one? Is this okay?
No, I mean the outcome, the result.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Prithi. can you check your, can you put your code in the chat, please?
Sir, when I put the value in how many events you have organized, it's 7. So it will showing error.
What is the error?
I'll 1 second, sir. Report object has no attribute name.
So write down there self dot name.
Okay.
You might miss self, right? That's why. Okay, Akriti, let me check your code report. Okay, so here, so Akriti, you miss self here in the first statement. Can you write down self here? Double underscore init, double underscore, and then self, and check. Great. Okay. Any other question do you have in this? So Usha, like we are trying to, implement the real-time solution here. So there are lots of restriction if we go in traditional approach, like writing the code from top to bottom. Okay, but here in object-oriented programming, we'll be deciding what we need to write, right? And we will be relating all these functions with uh, the real world problem. Okay, let us take an example how Facebook build. Like this is not the actual technical solution, but for your understanding, let's understand how Facebook is there. Like if you're using Facebook, okay, so Facebook is one of the application, right? In that we'll be having different pages, like starting from creating the account, right? Initially you will create the account, for that you will fill the form. Agree? That form will be one object. Okay, and whatever the details you're writing on that particular form will be your all variables associated with that object. Are you getting it? Like on that form, you will have your name, your surname, your first name, right? Then you will have your gender, then other details they are accepting like phone number. So these all are, you know, the details or variables associated with that form object. Are you getting it? Registration form. So this is for you, right? You are accessing the page. This is for you. This is one object you have created. Suppose I want to create an account on the Facebook, then again I will access the same form, but the different details, right? So Facebook is allowing us to create the multiple object of the form, and every object will have different details. Agree? So for your object will be having different details. For my object I'll be having my own details. For another user, that user's details will be there in that object. So we can create n number of objects using like the object oriented programming. Agree with this? Are you getting what is object is? Okay. Now such we will be having, you know, logging object, login form, right? Then we'll be having wall form, then we'll be having post, uploading videos, downloading videos. Multiple options are there in the Facebook, right? For every option we'll be having, you know, the object associated, and whatever the details we are filling there, these are all the variables related to that. Okay. Now you are okay, you have initially created one object, that is registration form. Okay, in that you have inserted your basic details. Agree with this? You have inserted your first name, last name, user ID, the password, and every details you have filled. Once you submit the form, then while login, you are not again inserting, or you are not again, you know, giving your details to them, right? You are just accepting your the Facebook is accepting what the details from registration form itself, like username, right? And you have to enter the password again. That is again security issue, security problem. So we need to insert the password again and again. But most of the time username Facebook is taking from the previous form itself, right? So the registration form will be your parent one, and the login form will be the child one. Login can access all the details from the parent. Agree? So this is how the inheritance is. We are actually uh, uh, implementing. So inheritance is like, in parent we'll be creating most of the common details, and then in different places we can access all these commons. So instead of, you know, accepting all the common details again and again in different places, why not we write all the common details in one place, and that place will be accessible everywhere when we create the common details. Agree this is what the inheritance is. I hope you are getting the overall idea, like what I am trying to tell. Great. So, Mahesh, you want to add something in this, or you have another doubt?
No, sir. I just want to take input from user as an object we are defining.
User as a
Means for creating multiple objects, we can we take input from user?
yeah,
We,
we can take definitely. Like, you know, we can take, like, suppose you are creating multiple objects, right? So definitely you can access all the, you know, features of all these classes. Okay. And if you want to access the details from the user, just go ahead and use what, this kind of print statements. Okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you can do that. N number of objects, n number of, you know, details you can accept from the user, not an issue. You can create the array of object, list of objects to just store all these users, right? You just iterate all these things in the for loop, you will get the multiple objects, right?
Yes, sir. I got it now.
Okay, any question in this, guys? Okay, Minakshi, you are having some doubts in this.
Attribute error आ रहा है. Report object has no attribute name. Sir, please check my
So
code.
here have you written self dot name?
Yes, sir.
In any other places where you haven't written self, please check. Here also you have to write self. Without self we cannot use this name in anywhere. Wherever you have written name, before that just make sure it is self dot name. Can you throw your code in the chat so that I can check?
Yes, sir. I already done.
Okay, let me just check. So can you see, like, once I execute this, okay, you are not going into parent class, right? In person you are not going. Why? Because you haven't inherited this person at all. Have you?
No, sir.
Check where you have inherited this. Can you see here? It's only single underscore, right? Can you see single underscore here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is the mistake, because we are not able to find out whether it is constructor or not. That's why it is not going in that particular function, right? That's why it is not able to find out the constructor. Now once you execute this, you will get the name there. You see now name is there. Pankaj, you want to add something here? Do you have any question?
I'm just trying to make the code.
Okay, please go ahead, make it fast. Okay, let's go ahead now, guys, and Let me just finish this. Next topic is multiple inheritance. Okay. So, like as we discussed, right, in the multi-level inheritance, we'll be having one parent, again we'll have one child, and then after that we'll be having child's child. That will establish grandchild relationship. But here in this code, we will be establishing two parent, one child relationship. Generally, you know, this is not applicable in Java, but Python supports multiple inheritance where we'll be having more than one parent for a single child, right? So this is the general idea. Okay, so let us understand this. We will have, okay, one child for, sorry, uh, multiple parents for one child, okay. For example, I'm having parent A, okay, and parent B. C is the child of A and B. This is the idea, guys. Okay, let's try to implement that. Okay, class A. Here I'm writing def demo. Any method you can write. Self print I am from class A. Class B again is a normal parent class. Def demo 1, another method. Self in this print I am from class B. Second parent. And then class C will inherit from A comma B. Now tell me, what is the benefit of class C, guys? What will be the benefit of class C? Anyone? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Can access A or B also.
Exactly. Can access the properties of A and B.
B.
Okay. Let's go ahead and see whether it is really doing that or not. Def demo 2. Here is the self print I am from child class. Okay, and let's create the object of child, guys. That is C is equal to capital C, and then let's print the directory of C, and you will see here demo is also accessible from A, demo 1 is also accessible from B, and demo 2 is accessible from C for C object. This is how the multiple inheritance works, guys. Okay. So can you implement one simple class of employee, okay, which will be having two parent. First one is for accepting basic details. Second one is for dealing with the employment information. Can you do that, guys? First class is able to access the basic information and second is for employment information. Please write this code and throw in the chat, guys. I'll give 5 minutes to write this. Okay, let's write the question here. Write a code to create the to create person class for basic details and employee class for employment details. Use multiple inheritance to demonstrate it. Is that okay now? This is the code question. Maksud, here class A and B are both independent. Yes. That's why these are parent, right, of C. Okay, let's copy code. No, Meenakshi, I want multiple inheritance to be implemented there. Shweta has written some code. Let me just copy this and check. Perfect. This is what the thing I'm expecting, Shweta. I believe now you can just work more on that to just create, make it as a usable, right? This is the way we can create it. Please go ahead and implement this. Okay, now I am having simple thing here. Let me just write one simple code for you. So you have written employee basic details. Yes, finish with this. Just work on that. Till then, I'll be writing some code. Uh, okay. So in this, what I'll do again, I will ask def init this. I'm just asking self. Here I'll be writing self dot. Okay. This is the example now. Can you tell me when I execute this, what will be the result? Anyone? Vishal, what is the problem you're having? You can unmute and you can talk, Vishal. Do you have access? Okay. What is the error? Please put in the chat. Just share your code here quickly.
Sorry, what's on the screen now? Is it also the multiple parent to child method?
That is, you haven't finished that yet.
Sorry, what method is this? It was on the screen now. What method is this?
No,
Is
no,
it the
just forget about this method right now. Okay. Just tell me, have you finished with the previous one, like having multiple parent for a single child? Have you
Yes,
finished with
yes,
this?
yes,
Right?
yes,
So you understood this, right?
yes.
Okay. Then let me just start on this. Okay. Let me just solve this question from Vishal, right, Vishal? Yeah. So you are getting some problem here. Let me check what. Now see here what is happening is you haven't written self here, Vishal. You have to write self, right? And then you can see you'll the result. Now here manager again, you are creating an object of this manager and you are expecting to pass these parameters. So where are these parameters coming from, Vishal?
Okay, sir. Let me add this.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us understand about this. Okay. Vishal, please go with flow. If you have a doubt in the current flow, then ask. Otherwise, if you are going in advance, please wait for us. Okay. Because there are other members also which are in very, initial level.
Yes, sir. I need time to understand and I need time for studying this
Yeah,
to
definitely.
get better
That's why I'm
insights,
just
sir.
saying if you are going in advance, that is completely okay for me. Like, that is, I'm really happy for that. But if you have the problem in the current program, then only, current concept, then we can discuss. Because this, whatever the code you have written, that is completely for the next topic that we are going to deal with. Otherwise, participant will get confused what we have written here, everything, right? So please make sure onwards if you are having doubt the current, then only just see. All
So
right,
just now you
so
have given a 5 minutes to write this code. Uh, to means given us assignment one question to uh, program this employee details.
mhm.
Okay. I think I need some more time to get understanding of this, how this works.
So Mahesh, like if you are not getting, then you should have asked here itself. Like, we already discussed this, right? And you understood all these points, right? And same thing we did here, just we have written the function name different, that's it. Instead of demo2 we have written some employee name. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if you are not getting this basic, and that's why I'm just giving very small, very initial level code initially, right? Very beginning level code this is. So if you're not
Yeah,
getting that, you
yes,
can ask me again and again. Okay. If you're
yes, sir.
not getting that.
It is possible when I copy this previous code and put the new values in it. But when I'm going to code myself, means for a new,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so it is bit
Yeah,
difficult.
I understand that. I understand that completely. Okay, so whatever you are able to write, no, you just write that. Okay, and just send me it in the chat. Okay, so we can together complete it. No
Yes,
problem.
sir.
Right?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, but if we'll will not try here, then that will be difficult when you go. Once we close this session and try this particular program, that will be difficult for you as well, right? Will not be able to understand. All right, so let us understand the next very simple concept, guys. Okay, so tell me what this is. What kind of inheritance this is? What kind of inheritance this is? Simple or multi-level or what? Single,
Single inheritance.
right? It's an single inheritance because we are having this class, right, which is inherited by the employee details, right? And uh, this is the only child this particular parent is having. That's why it is a single inheritance. Okay. Now in this we are having init method. In this also we are having init method. Let's create the object of this particular class and let's see what happened here. So when we create the object of this, what should happen, guys? Which method it should call? Yes. Let's see what it is calling. Can you see? Okay, so it is just saying
So change the class
we
name.
have
Name is wrong.
okay, here child name, class name is this, right? Yeah. Now tell me, when I execute this employment details, right? So which method it should call ideally?
Parent construction.
Constructor, right? Which constructor? Parents or child's constructor?
Parents.
It should call,
Oh
you can
no,
see now
it's
enter
child.
department.
Child.
Enter department means what it is calling, which constructor, guys?
Child.
Child's constructor, right? But when we don't have this child constructor, then automatically it calls what? Parents constructor. I agree. This we have learned previously. Then how we are going to call the parent constructor if we are having child constructor as well? How we will be calling this? Okay, so for that we will be using one concept, that is super. Okay, that concept we are going to use. Let's go ahead and use that. Simple, we'll be writing super is the function dot double underscore init double underscore. Make sure how many parameters we are passing to this constructor, guys? 0 parameter. That's why we are here what passing 0 parameters. Okay, now when we create the object, it will call this particular constructor, and in this constructor what is the first step, guys? It will call which constructor? Super constructor. Super means what? Super means what?
Super means parent constructor.
Right, we learn, right, the terminology super class. That means parent constructor. So let's execute this and see whether it is calling the parent constructor or not. Okay, let me just check what is happening. Can you see now? When I execute this, it is calling parent constructor. How we are going to understand whether it is calling or parent constructor or not? See, enter ID. Where is the ID? Here is the ID. That means it is calling what? Parent constructor. Why it is calling parent constructor? Because we have written this statement. Super dot init. Understood? Okay, and then let's enter the value 1. Name is Amit, then age is 30. Now see, all the values I have entered. Now it should execute which statement? It will come again to this step, right? And then again it will look for the next statement, that is enter the department. Can you see now enter department? Again, I am saying, for example, data science, enter designation, data scientist, and finish. Okay, because we haven't called display function. Let's go ahead and call the display function here. Just check what is happening at your end, guys. Check this.
Professor?
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, for any reason, when I add the display data, it gave me an error at the end.
Can you repeat your question, please?
When I add the display data, like you add at the end,
Okay.
so when I'm running the program, it gives me an error at the end.
What is the error?
It said implement detail object has no attribute.
Which attribute?
ID.
Okay. So I hope this is correct one. Okay. I hope this is correct one, and check this one. Super function, then dot, then double underscore init, double underscore opening closing.
Okay.
Let me send this code in the chat.
Amit, if you don't mind, you can explain again the use of super.
Yes, yes, definitely. I'll explain. So, see, like in the previous examples, right, we have seen if we are writing the constructor in parent, okay, and we are implementing inheritance, right, and we are not writing the constructor in child class, then it automatically calls which constructor? The constructor which is present in the parent class, right? This is
Right.
what we learn in the previous classes, previous examples. So what if we have the constructor in parent also and child also, both? Then when it creates the object, it calls the constructor of child by default, right? So it will skip the constructor from parent class. But in parent class also, some of the important information we need to access, right? We need to give the values to name, ID, and age also, right? But anyway, our code is not calling the constructor of parent because already child constructor is called, right? To solve this particular problem, we can call the parent constructor explicitly using super function. Understood?
Okay, but after super, they're blank. Everything super
Yeah,
like
so let me
dot.
explain the flow. Okay, here you are creating an object of the child class, right? So when we create the object of child class, it looks for the child constructor first. Is child constructor is present in our code? Yes, the constructor is present here, right? So it will enter in this particular constructor. It will find the first
Parent.
statement, that is super, right? So
Right.
what super is doing, super will call the constructor of super class. Super means its parent. It's so employees parent which one is the parent of this particular class? Basic details, right? So it will come here, it will execute this entire function, it will come again back to its place where it called, right? And it will start accepting what the other rest of the details. Suppose we haven't written this particular constructor here in the child, then it will automatically call which constructor? Parents constructor. Understood?
Yes.
We
Then the
have
form.
both constructor, that's why we need to call both constructor. So by default this constructor is getting called, but we need to explicitly call which constructor? Parents constructor here.
Okay. Then the formula is super dot init. Dot is compulsory.
Yeah, dot is because we are calling that constructor. Okay.
Okay. Sometimes we suppose that sometimes we have a 2 and 3 parent constructor.
Yeah, I'll go. We'll check that also. Okay. Okay, once done, guys, please let me know in the chat. Okay. Okay. Next is simple. Uh, Let me just go up and copy some code like from here. Okay. Now you can see here I am having def double underscore init double underscore self. Okay. And here I am accepting, for example, self dot name of college. Self dot name of college is equal to input enter name of college. This is one constructor. Here def double underscore init double underscore self dot card number integer. Suppose we want to access the card number, then we just write here enter card number. Okay, so here you can see simple, right? What is the problem here? We are having constructor of this also, right? And constructor of this class also. So how will be tackling this? Very simple. Now see, when let me just go ahead and do this. Okay, when I create the object, then it will call this constructor only. Agree with this? Let's check. Can you see enter card number? This will call only this constructor. Then what will happen, guys? If I may miss the about to constructor, right? So how I can solve this particular problem? Can anyone just write a solution in the chat, or you can talk, guys?
With super.
You will be writing super, right? So where to write super? Just in this constructor, just write down what? Super dot double underscore init double underscore, right? Now it will call what? It will call the parent of this report. Who is the parent of this report? Student.
Person.
So it will call this constructor. I agree with this. So it should ideally you know, just execute the enter college name. Can you see now it's asking us to enter the college name? Is it right? But still we are missing what? The main constructor. So how we are going to solve that? Again, in this constructor, can we write super, guys? Yeah. Now when I execute this, it will call the enter name. Okay. Again, once it will ask all these details, it will come here and it will ask for college name. Again, it will come down and it will ask for what? The card number. Agree? From here, when we execute this, it will jump here and find out the init. In init, it encounter with this particular statement. It will jump to this particular constructor. Again, it will find this particular call. It will go up and it will call this. Once this execution will done, it will come down where it has got an call. Then it will execute the next statement. Again, it will come down where it got call. Again, it will execute this, and again it will come to the original place this way, right? Let's execute this. Can you see enter name now? It is asking us the parent constructor, right? Let's give the name Amit. Let's ID 1. Let's age is 20. Now see what after executing this, what statement I should expect, guys? What statement, next statement I should expect? Enter college name. Agree with this?
Yes. Name of the college.
So enter college name. I am writing my college name, for example, MIT. The second one is card number, right? So it will ask for card number here, right? Let us say card number is 123. Now it's finished. I hope you are getting the navigation from one constructor to another, from another to another, right? This is the use of super, guys.
Amit, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, if we want to show the result for accept academic record, so should we add the super formula into accept non-academic record there?
Like the result you want, displaying result, all these things.
Yeah. If we want to display the result of accept
Yeah.
academic record, so should we add in the super formula into the accept non-academic record there?
So what you can do is, now this is what the same thing, right? Previous one. This is multi-level inheritance, right? So you can see. So you can just call r dot this function display. Instead of display report, first we need to call what?
Accept academic record.
Yes, we need to call this particular function. Again, r dot What accept non-academic details. Again, that's it, right? And then
Can we-
display report.
Yeah, can we use a super formula instead of show the accept academic record?
To call the accept academic record, right?
Yeah. Can we use a super formula as well?
Yes, we can call this, okay, to call the function, but
Okay.
inside the class, not outside one.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, like function should be accessible using object only, right? In as per the thing of object oriented programming. So we are using this function outside the class only, right? Here name, it is 1. This is the result. So you can print the college name also. You can print, the report ID number as well here.
Amit, sir, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I am just addressing Safa his
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
Mahesh, why you are leaving again and again? Yeah, go ahead. You want to ask anything, Mahesh?
No, sir, internet is not stable. That's why it is getting
All
distracted.
right, all right. You're leaving like in between. That's why your access is getting revoked. There is any network problem, I think, at your end.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Any question here? Getting how to access the constructor from super class guys using super keyword. Now there is one more question. Let's try to understand. Now we can figure out right here using like it will tell who is the parent of like, you know, which one we should accept, right? The parent of report is student, that's why it automatically calls student. But let's take an example of, you know, multiple inheritance. Okay, this is the example of multiple inheritance. Let's go ahead and do that. Let me just finish this. Okay, now here also init is there, here also init is there, right? And you can see, let me just comment it out, here also init is there. Let me just remove this for your understanding. Okay, and here let's say self dot mgr is equal to init, sorry, input my manager. Okay, so you can see now when I create the object of this, it will call this particular constructor, right? Let's check. So it will call this. See, my designation is okay. Sorry, enter your designation. I just want to write here. Enter the designation. Okay. So it will call this. Now, if I want to call the constructor of its parent, so how many parents are there for manager, guys? How many parents are there for manager?
Two.
Two, right?
Two parents.
So
Yeah.
how it is going to understand whose constructor it should call, right? How it will understand, I want to call the constructor of person, I want to call the constructor of employee, because manager is having two parent, guys. So how this super will understand this? Let's write super here. Okay, let's write super here. Dot double underscore init double underscore. Right now, let's execute this. Can you see enter name? So it will go up in first parent, it will call. Okay, let me just exchange this. Suppose I'm writing here person. Let's say what happened. Okay, let me stop this and execute it again. Can you see now? Okay. Salary is not defined. So it is calling this in. This is wrong. Enter ID. And here also enter salary. Okay, let me execute this. Can you see now enter ID? So it is calling the constructor of employee because of this sequence, guys. Because of this sequence, it is calling the constructor of employee. If we write person employee, then it will go up and call this particular constructor. Okay, if I want to call, suppose now it is calling the employee's constructor. Can we write here, guys, like this super? And then it will call the constructor above constructor. Is it possible, guys? If I write like this, is it possible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if you are saying yes, that means is employee is the child of person? No, right? It's not the child of person. Let's execute this. Can you see now what it is saying? Enter name, right? Then enter age. Enter ID is 1. Again, it is calling enter ID 1. Okay, and then it is just designation. See, now it is printing. Means though it is not the parent, still it is able to understand. Now I want to go and check for the other parent. Getting it? So this is how we can access the constructor, but at this particular point in time you have to just sequence it. Okay, which constructor it should call. The sequence is important here. Are you getting it? Simple. Okay, if we change the sequence, then it will call the person constructor first and then it will call the next constructor. Let's change the sequence and see what happens here. I am writing person first and then employee. See here what is happening. It will go up. It is accepting name 30. Now it is asking us to enter the designation. It never goes here because we haven't called here self dot something, right? So that's why it is coming down and it is saying attribute salary is not defined, so we haven't called this salary. That's why. Just remove this ID from here. Okay, can we write like this? No, okay.
Sir, class employee in bracket person we have not mentioned.
Wait, like here, manager is there, right? Our child class. So it will come here. It will just check person is the first one. That's why it will go and check the persons. This one, okay? It will call this. It will come down, and then it will just ask for the designation. We never will enter into this particular constructor. To enter in this constructor, what we need to do, guys? We need to call. Can we call here self or super dot double underscore init double underscore? Okay, and let's execute this. Can you see enter name Amit, then age is 30, then ID, again it is asking ID. So let's say ID is 2. Now see, we are not able to go up and check the constructor. Okay, this is the problem. So always remember this matters a lot. Okay, so instead of writing this,
The bracket of super functions. You don't reading it.
sorry,
You written super without the without brackets of the functions in the first code.
yeah, here.
So that can better execute. Yeah, good.
Let's go ahead and do this. ID is 1, salary is, now it is calling, designation is any, and now it is printing. Okay, this is the way. Go ahead and execute this.
So why do you have to write super under the class person?
Here, so it will call
Yes,
this
why?
constructor. It will call this constructor. Otherwise, it will not call this constructor. Okay. Let's say we remove this. Okay. Let's say we remove this. What will happen? It when we create the object of manager, it will go up, right? It will call this constructor. Then inside this constructor, it have what? This init. Okay.
So
it will
why don't you write the super under the class employee as against the person class?
Yeah, we can write there also. I am just giving you a different things like the sequence. So when we write this sequence, so it will look for what? First person, right? So it will go here. It will execute all these things. Okay, and again it will come back and we'll start from here. Okay, so we don't want, we want it should enter in this constructor as well. That's why I'm writing super here. Okay, so when we write super, it will come here and it will ask for the salary. Again it will come down and it will ask the designation. Okay, this is the sequence we need to follow. As per your requirement, you can write super function anywhere, right, in any constructor.
Amit sir, I have a one question that the if I create a one more class like student and where I can define a one constructor, so the what class they have called the super class, the super init method, which class they have called? I have created one more class like call a student. They also have an init constructor. Matlab, they have also a default constructor.
Yeah. So in that case, okay, if you are inheriting here also, right? College constructor.
Yes, sir. College or student, anything.
Yeah, student, college, something, whatever it is.
Yes, yes.
So again, where you want to access that, okay, where you want to access that, write down there. Okay, for example, let us create one more constructor here, class here, class, for example, college student. Okay, in this you're writing nothing, and then def double underscore init double underscore, right? And
Yes. Write anything.
then here you're writing what, self, and then print constructor. Now you are inheriting this also, where it is here. Okay, now it is calling what, employee constructor here, and
Yes.
here after that I will be calling super dot init. Now let's check the sequence. Name, that means it has called which one? The first one, person.
Must yes.
Person, right?
Yes.
Age is 30, ID is 1. Now it has called which one?
The employee.
Employee one, right? For example, salary, this one. Now it has called which one?
The first one.
The first one, right? So here it has come. So again, let's say, okay, it has not. Let's say designation, this one. We have created the object. So here what we need to do is, after this, let us write down this one. Otherwise we need to call the class name and then constructor name.
Okay.
This is one approach. Let's see. Salary is this one, designation is this one. Now it is again calling name. So if we have more than that, then what we can do is, instead of this we can write this method.
Amit sir, they can call immediate down below constructor. We can just copy the college and paste in below, sir. So they can work. Maybe.
Where?
Maybe they just call the below class. So you can call. You can copy that. Cut that college class and paste.
Oh, okay.
constructor is called, no, sir?
Yes,
Yes. So
it has called, right? So this is the one way. If we are, more than two think constructor, maybe parent, then we can directly call. Okay, let me just write down one more thing, like your approach. Like this is the one we can again use. Okay, so here, let's say employee details, then this is another thing. Okay, this is the constructor we're calling. Now you can see I am just calling this particular constructor. Here, okay, person is there, employee is there, manager is there. These are the two constructor we are having. Now if you want to call the constructor of person and employee at the same time, then you can just use the class name dot init and then pass the variable whatever you want. Okay, and you can call this kind of constructor here as well. So instead of navigating from one constructor to another constructor, you can go ahead and do that this also. Okay, so here if you see, like let us remove all these variables, otherwise we need to pass. Let's pass here. So once we create the object of manager, it will call this constructor and it is accepting how many parameters? 4 parameters. So for name, give here name. Okay, for age, suppose 20. For ID it is 1, and then salary it is 10,000 for example. It will just pass all these values to these 4 variables. Okay, and then it will call the person and it will carry name and age here. Okay, but here you can find we have already given some values to it, so better have to pass. Okay guys, we will see this in the next class. Okay, as we are running late, so we'll see this calling the constructor and other stuffs. Okay, with parameters, parametric constructor we'll see in the next class, right? So just study till this particular point, like tomorrow we'll be continuing the same topic. Okay.
Yes, sir. Please give this document so we will study.
Yeah, I'll share this. We'll continue this tomorrow as well. Do not refer the last cell because we need to explain more on that.
Means in super
We
init
share
we
this
can
file.
pass variables like pass parameters in function.
Yeah, we can pass this. That will be our next topic.
Initially we were just passing self in that bracket.
Like the variable you're saying, right?
Yes, sir. Just now I have seen that you have passed some variable in that.
Yeah, that we will continue tomorrow. We need
And
some more
previously it was only
explanation.
self we were mentioning in that bracket. Only self was there.
Self we need to mention because that is one thing of super. Whenever we are calling the constructor, okay, at that time we need to mention the self as well. Then only it will recognize that we need to call the constructor, otherwise not. I'll give the explanation that, okay, as well tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I need that. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Amit sir, I have one general question that why we do not define that constructor, parent constructor, why we do not call the parent constructor inside the class. We always call in a function or in another constructor. Why we directly not call in the class? Just define the class A.
Object of
And
that.
Okay, and
and then just call the super dot init or super dot. We
Yeah,
always
like see, okay, good question. See, but whenever we create the object, it looks for what?
it's constructor, matlab.
Right? And that's why we need to, initiate everything in the constructor only.
Okay.
Okay, at the beginning we cannot access anything from the class, right? So we'll see that if we are declaring that as a static member or class member, then only it is possible. But if we are dealing with the instance variable